Stop everything for a moment, beloved child. This message is not random. This is not accidental. Heaven interrupted your scrolling because your faith is being pulled into a battle right now. Listen carefully. Do not rush past this. Do not treat this like another message, another video, another moment you can casually ignore. I brought you here because something has been trying to sit on the throne of your heart, and today I am confronting it with my word. Your reality is not your ruler. My word is your authority. I know what you can see. I know what you heard. I know the number on the bill. I know the report from the doctor. I know the silence from the person who walked away. I know the delay that has stretched longer than you thought your heart could survive. I know the loneliness that follows you into rooms full of people. I know the fear that wakes you before morning and whispers before you can even open your eyes. I have seen it all. I have not ignored one tear. I have not missed one sigh. I have not turned away from one moment of your pain. But beloved child, hear me now. Just because something is present does not mean it has permission to govern you. Just because something is loud does not mean it is Lord. Just because something feels real does not mean it has the final word. The facts may be standing in front of you, but they were never appointed to lead you. They were never crowned over your obedience. They were never authorized to decide whether you trust me, follow me, speak my word, or move when I tell you to move. Some of you have been obeying your bills more than my promise. Some of you have been obeying your symptoms more than my healing word. Some of you have been obeying rejection more than my declaration that you are chosen. Some of you have been obeying delay more than my timing. Some of you have been obeying loneliness more than my presence. Some of you have been obeying fear more than my spirit. Some of you have been obeying bad reports more than the report of the Lord. This is not condemnation. This is awakening. I am not exposing this to shame you. I am exposing it to free you. Because somewhere along the way, the thing you were supposed to face became the thing you started following. The circumstance that was supposed to be temporary began speaking like it was eternal. The pressure that was supposed to drive you into prayer began training your mouth to agree with defeat. The pain that I wanted to heal began teaching you how to expect disappointment. But today I am interrupting that agreement. Reality may be present, but reality is not sovereign. Reality may be painful, but reality is not supreme. Reality may be convincing, but reality is not covenant. My word does not bow to what you see. My promise does not ask permission from your circumstances. My authority is not intimidated by what is delayed, what is missing, what is broken, what is empty, or what is still unresolved. And if you believe my word has final authority over what you see, like this video right now as an act of agreement, do not do it casually. Do it as a declaration that fear will not rule this moment. Subscribe if you are ready to keep building your faith and stop feeding your fear. And comment these words right now. I walk by your word, not by my reality. Type it with faith. Type it with surrender. Type it as a line in the spirit that says, from this moment forward, visible circumstances do not get to command my obedience. Because the issue is not whether reality exists. I am not asking you to pretend the storm is not real. I am not asking you to deny the pain, ignore the bill, dismiss the symptom, or act like the report was never given. The issue is whether reality has been given a throne it was never meant to occupy. And today, beloved child, I am taking that throne back. I have been watching you, beloved. I saw the night you checked the account balance and felt your chest tighten before you could even breathe. I saw you stare at the numbers, refresh the screen, count what was left, count what was missing, and then sit there in silence while fear began making calculations in your mind. I saw the morning you woke up tired before the day even began, not because your body had not rested, but because your soul had been wrestling all night with questions you were too exhausted to pray out loud. I saw the unanswered prayers that made you wonder if heaven had gone silent. I saw the medical report you tried to be brave about, but when nobody was looking, your hands trembled. I saw the family tension that drained you, the conversations you replayed, the words that cut deeper than anyone understood, the pressure of trying to hold peace in a place where you were also being wounded. I saw the rejection that made you question your worth. I saw the slow progress that made you feel left behind. I saw the betrayal that changed how you trust. I saw the silence from people you expected to support you, people you thought would call, people you thought would notice, people you thought would stand beside you when the weight became too heavy. Every hidden collapse, I saw it. Every smile you forced while something inside you was breaking, I saw it. Every time you said, "I'm fine," while your heart was bleeding behind your eyes, I heard what you did not say. Every time you walked into a room and performed strength while inwardly begging me to hold you together, I was there. You were not abandoned in that moment. You were not invisible in that moment. You were not weak because the pain affected you. You are my child. And I know the frame of my child. I know when the battle has been long. I know when the waiting has been heavy. I know when faith has had to stand in the same place for so long that your knees began to tremble. But listen carefully, beloved child, because I am not only naming your pain, I am exposing the moment your pain began giving orders. I saw the moment you stopped merely noticing what was happening and started bowing to what you could see. I saw the moment the bill stopped being a bill and became a voice. I saw the moment the report stopped being information and became a sentence over your future. I saw the moment the delay stopped being a season and became an identity. I saw the moment rejection stopped being something that happened to you and became something that defined you. I saw the moment silence from people became louder in your heart than my promise over your life. This is not shame. This is not accusation. This is not me standing over you with disappointment. This is me reaching into the place where fear built a throne and calling it down. You did not become weak because you noticed reality. You became weary because you started treating reality like a commander. You let what happened begin instructing your expectations. You let what was missing begin shaping your prayers. You let what hurt you begin training your imagination. You let what did not change begin telling you what I would not do. And today I am interrupting that hidden agreement. I am not asking you to pretend pain is not real. I am not asking you to laugh at what broke your heart. I am not asking you to call darkness light or to act like the storm did not hit your house. I know the storm. I saw the storm. I was with you in the storm. But I am calling you to stop letting the storm issue instructions to your faith. Pain can be acknowledged without being enthroned. A report can be read without being worshipped. A delay can be endured without being obeyed. A wound can be brought into my presence without being allowed to preach over your destiny. This is not denial. This is discernment. This is not pretending. This is positioning. This is not ignoring the storm. This is refusing to worship the storm. This is not closing your eyes to facts. This is opening your spirit to truth. This is not pretending the mountain is not there. This is refusing to bow your heart before the mountain when I have already spoken to it. This is not emotional escape. This is spiritual alignment. This is not weakness. This is warfare. Because the enemy has been using your pain as a pulpit. He has been preaching through the delay. He has been preaching through the empty chair. He has been preaching through the unanswered message. He has been preaching through the diagnosis, the rejection, the closed door, the slow progress, the family conflict, the financial pressure, and the memory of who left when you needed them most. And some of you did not realize you were sitting under that sermon every day. You thought you were just being realistic. You thought you were just protecting yourself. You thought you were just adjusting your expectations. But fear was discipling your heart. Beloved, I saw when you stopped expecting good. I saw when you started bracing for disappointment before anything even happened. I saw when you began rehearsing loss so it would hurt less if it came. I saw when you stopped praying boldly because you did not want to feel foolish if nothing changed. I saw when you lowered your voice, lowered your hope, lowered your faith, and called it maturity. But I did not call you to manage disappointment as your master. I called you to trust me as your father. The hurt was real. The disappointment was real. The exhaustion was real. The tears were real. But the agreement you made with fear must now be broken. The agreement that says, "This will never change," must be broken. The agreement that says, "I am always overlooked," must be broken. The agreement that says, "God has forgotten me," must be broken. The agreement that says, "I cannot hope again," must be broken. The agreement that says, "What I see is all there is," must be broken in the name of truth. Right now, beloved child, I am putting my finger on the place where your faith bowed, not to condemn you, but to raise you, not to expose you to shame, but to restore you to authority. You are not called to live commanded by what you see. You are not called to let fear interpret your future. You are not called to let pain become your prophet. I see the pain clearly, but I will not let pain become the voice you obey. So breathe again. Lift your heart again. Let me show you the difference between facing reality and surrendering to it. You can face the facts without letting the facts become your God. You can acknowledge the battle without letting the battle rename you. You can admit that it hurt without giving the hurt permission to lead you. And from this moment forward, the voice that wounded you will not be the voice that guides you. My word will guide you. My truth will steady you. My promise will speak louder than what tried to break you. Beloved child, hear the truth that must become louder than the thing in front of you. You walk by faith, not by sight. That is not a phrase for peaceful days only. That is not a scripture to decorate a wall while your heart obeys panic. That is not a sentence to repeat when everything is easy and abandon when the evidence becomes loud. I gave that word for the moment when sight feels persuasive. I gave that word for the moment when the report looks official, when the door looks closed, when the provision looks absent, when the healing looks delayed, when the person looks gone, when the promise looks impossible, and when your emotions begin asking if fear is simply wisdom. You walk by faith, not by sight. That means sight will speak. Do not be surprised when sight has an argument. Do not be shocked when visible circumstances present evidence. Sight will point to the empty place. Sight will point to the delay. Sight will point to what has not changed yet. Sight will point to the weakness in your body, the tension in your home, the pressure in your finances, the silence in your waiting, the wound in your memory. Sight will say, look at this, explain this, bow to this, adjust your hope around this. But faith rises in the middle of that pressure and says, my God has spoken, and His word is higher than what I can see. Faith does not deny the facts. Faith denies their final authority. Listen carefully. I am not calling you to pretend there is no problem. I am not asking you to use spiritual language to avoid dealing with real things. I am not telling you to close your eyes to the bill, ignore the diagnosis, dismiss the conversation, or act like the battle has not been costly. Faith is not blindness. Faith is loyalty. Faith is not the absence of reality. Faith is allegiance to my word above reality. Faith does not say, there is no storm. Faith says, the storm is not Lord. Faith does not say, there is no mountain. Faith says, this mountain must answer to the voice of God. Faith does not say, I feel nothing. Faith says, my feelings will not become my foundation. Sight says it is over. Faith says my word is still alive. Sight says nothing is changing. Faith says I am working beneath the surface. Sight says obey the report. Faith says obey the promise. Sight says prepare for loss. Faith says prepare your heart for my faithfulness. Sight says shrink back. Faith says stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Sight says you are alone. Faith says I will never leave you nor forsake you. Sight says your delay is denial. Faith says my timing is not your rejection. Sight says the door is locked. Faith says I hold the key that no man can shut. This is the battle, beloved. It has always been the battle. Not whether you saw something painful, not whether you heard something frightening, not whether you felt something heavy. The battle is over. Which voice receives your obedience? Because fear does not only speak. Fear commands. Fear tells you to shrink. Fear tells you to delay. Fear tells you to hide. Fear tells you to quit before you are rejected again. Fear tells you to doubt before you are disappointed again. Fear tells you to panic because it wants your body, your mouth, your thoughts, and your decisions moving under its authority. Fear tells you to prepare for loss as though loss is your inheritance. Fear tells you to stop praying boldly because bold prayer makes you vulnerable. Fear tells you to expect less so your heart will not ache more. But my word calls you higher. My word calls you to stand. My word calls you to speak. My word calls you to trust. My word calls you to wait without surrendering your hope. My word calls you to move when I say move. My word calls you to believe when sight is not yet caught up. My word calls you to lift your head before the answer is visible. My word calls you to bless me before the breakthrough appears. My word calls you to agree with heaven while earth still looks unresolved. And now your mouth must come back into alignment. Your mouth has rehearsed defeat long enough. Your mouth has repeated fear long enough. Your mouth has called the situation impossible long enough. Your mouth has practiced disappointment long enough. Every time you said, it will never change, you were not just describing pain, you were agreeing with sight. Every time you said, "Nothing good happens for me," you were not just being honest, you were giving language to fear. Every time you said, "I cannot do this," without bringing that weakness into my strength, you were letting the problem train your confession. So today I am correcting your speech because I am restoring your authority. Speak what I have spoken. Say, "God is faithful." Say, "His word is higher than what I see." Say, "This report is not my ruler." Say, "Fear will not lead me." Say, "I walk by faith, not by sight." Say it now, beloved. Do not whisper it like you are asking fear for permission. Say it like a child who knows the voice of the Father. If this word is meeting you right where you are, comment right now, "I walk by faith, not by sight." Let your mouth break the agreement your mind has been rehearsing. Let your confession become a sword against the lie. Because every time you obeyed fear, you trained your spirit to kneel before sight. Every time you delayed because fear told you to delay. Every time you hid because fear told you to hide. Every time you quit because fear told you to quit. Every time you panicked because fear told you panic was protection. You were practicing surrender to the visible. But today that agreement is being revoked. Today the throne is being corrected. Today your faith is rising from the place where it bowed. Today your mouth is coming out of captivity. Today sight loses the authority it stole, and my word takes its rightful place over your heart again. And beloved child, now I need you to see the warfare behind the weight. Because this has not only been about what happened to you. This has not only been about the delay, the disappointment, the sickness, the lack, the rejection, the silence, or the door that did not open when you thought it would open. The enemy used your circumstances as a pulpit. He climbed on top of what hurt you and began preaching against my faithfulness. He used the empty place as a sermon. He used the waiting season as a sermon. He used the diagnosis as a sermon. He used the financial pressure as a sermon. He used the person who left as a sermon. He used the thing that did not change as a sermon, and he kept repeating the same message until your heart started wondering if maybe he was telling the truth. Listen carefully. He did not need you to stop believing in me completely. He only needed you to trust your reality more than my word. He did not need you to become an atheist in your mouth. He only needed you to become unbelieving in your expectations. He did not need you to deny my name. He only needed you to obey fear while still saying you believed. He did not need you to throw away every promise. He only needed you to let the pressure speak louder than the promise. He only needed you to look at what was missing and conclude that my word was delayed, weakened, absent, or unsure. That is warfare, beloved. Warfare is not always loud. Warfare is not always dramatic. Sometimes warfare sounds like a thought that says, "Do not hope again." Sometimes warfare sounds like wisdom, but it is really fear wearing a calm voice. Sometimes warfare sounds like, "Be realistic," when what it means is, stop trusting God above what you can see. Sometimes warfare sounds like, "Protect yourself," when what it means is, close your heart to faith. Sometimes warfare sounds like, "Nothing ever changes," because the enemy knows if he can turn repetition into a doctrine, he can turn your pain into a false prophet. He weaponized repetition against you. Repeated setbacks became a false prophecy. Repeated silence became a false conclusion. Repeated disappointment became a false identity. One closed door hurt, but many closed doors began preaching, "You are unwanted." One unanswered message hurt, but repeated silence began preaching, "You are forgotten." One delay tested you, but a long delay began preaching, "You are denied." One battle exhausted you, but repeated battles began preaching, "You are abandoned." And because the message kept coming through things you could see, touch, feel, and measure, it started sounding more believable than the voice that called you chosen before the foundation of the world. But I am breaking that sermon today. I am silencing that counterfeit pulpit today. I am pulling fear out of the place where it has been teaching your heart. The enemy said the closed door proves I forgot you. I say the closed door protected you. The enemy said the delay proves you are denied. I say the delay is preparation. The enemy said the battle proves you are abandoned. I say the battle proves there is something on your life worth resisting. The enemy said the lack proves I will not provide. I say I am teaching you that your source is not what you counted, but the one who holds you. The enemy said the sickness proves your body is beyond hope. I say my life still speaks over every place that has been under attack. The enemy said The rejection proves you are not valuable. I say, rejection cannot cancel what I have chosen. The enemy said you are losing time. I say I redeem time. The enemy said you are too late. I say my timing is still holy. The enemy said you are behind. I say you are being formed. The enemy said you are forgotten. I say you are engraved upon my hands. The enemy said you are weak because you cried. I say your tears never disqualified you. The enemy said your faith failed because you trembled. I say I held you even when your knees shook. The enemy said this pressure means you are finished. I say this pressure is not the end of your story. Do you understand now why the attack kept returning? If your agreement did not matter, darkness would not work so hard to capture it. If your mouth did not matter, hell would not pressure you to speak defeat. If your faith did not matter, fear would not fight so aggressively to become your interpreter. If your obedience did not matter, the enemy would not keep using circumstances to persuade you to stop moving. He has been after your agreement. He has been after the place in you that says yes to my word. He has been after your confidence, your confession, your expectation, your obedience, and your identity. Because the enemy knows that a believer who agrees with my word becomes dangerous to darkness. A believer who can look at lack and still call me provider is dangerous. A believer who can look at delay and still call me faithful is dangerous. A believer who can look at sickness and still call me healer is dangerous. A believer who can look at rejection and still call themselves chosen is dangerous. A believer who can stand in a storm and refuse to make the storm Lord is dangerous. So the pressure intensified not because you were forgotten, but because your agreement carries authority. The battle became loud because what I placed in you is not small. And now I am calling you out of the enemy's sermon. Stop letting circumstances preach to you. Stop sitting under the ministry of fear. Stop letting disappointment disciple your imagination. Stop letting delay interpret my heart. Stop letting lack define my provision. Stop letting rejection tell you who you are. Come back under my voice. Come back under my word. Come back under the truth that cannot be shaken by what is temporary. The fight has never only been around your circumstances. It has been around who you believe you are when circumstances contradict the promise. It has been around whether you will call yourself abandoned when I call you mine. It has been around whether you will call yourself defeated when I call you more than a conqueror. It has been around whether you will let a temporary season give you a permanent name. And beloved child, that is where I am taking you now, because you are not the name your situation gave you. You are not the name your situation gave you, beloved child. Hear me with the part of you that has been wounded. Hear me with the part of you that stopped lifting its head. Hear me with the part of you that started answering to labels I never spoke. You are not abandoned. You are not cursed. You are not finished. You are not what the report said. You are not what the rejection called you. You are not what the delay suggested. You are not what the lack implied. You are not what the betrayal made you feel. You are not the sentence fear wrote over your future. That situation may have spoken, but it does not have naming rights over my child. That season may have been painful, but it does not have the authority to define you. That report may have been printed, signed, delivered, and explained, but it is not your creator. That rejection may have cut deeply, but it is not your identity. That delay may have stretched long, but it is not your destiny. That loss may have shaken you, but it is not your name. You do not belong to what happened to you. You belong to me. I call you chosen. I call you held. I call you strengthened. I call you forgiven. I call you covered. I call you called. I call you restored. I call you more than a conqueror. I call you mine. Before the circumstance spoke, I had already spoken. Before the enemy accused, I had already chosen. Before rejection touched your heart, my love had already claimed you. Before the report tried to become final, my word had already gone forth over your life. The enemy called you unstable. I call you rooted. The enemy called you rejected. I call you mine. The enemy called you delayed. I call you being prepared. The enemy called you weak. I call you a vessel of my strength. The enemy called you forgotten. I call you engraved upon my hands. The enemy called you unqualified. I call you appointed. The enemy called you too broken. I call you ready for my healing power to be revealed. The enemy called you a failure. I call you learning, growing, rising, and still held by grace. Listen carefully. The enemy has been trying to make you answer to what wounded you. He wanted you to hear abandoned and turn your head. He wanted you to hear unwanted and believe it was your name. He wanted you to hear behind and wear it like a garment. He wanted you to hear defeated and begin walking like defeat was your inheritance. But I did not create you to be named by an attack. I did not form you to be labeled by a season. I did not breathe life into you so a temporary storm could write permanent identity over your soul. This is why your identity matters. People obey according to who they believe they are. If you believe you are defeated, you will obey defeat. You will shrink when I call you forward. You will hide when I call you to stand. You will silence your voice when I call you to speak. You will expect loss when I call you to trust. You will agree with fear and call it being careful. You will bow to sight and call it being realistic. But if you believe you are my child, you will obey your Father's word. You will rise when I say rise. You will move when I say move. You will speak when I say speak. You will wait with hope, because you know the one who holds time. If you believe you are rejected, you will beg for approval from places that were never assigned to validate you. If you believe you are cursed, you will interpret every battle as proof that nothing good can stay. If you believe you are forgotten, you will treat delay like abandonment. If you believe you are finished, you will stop obeying before the next instruction comes. But if you believe what I have spoken, then rejection loses its throne. Delay loses its sting. Reports lose their crown. Fear loses its command. Because my word becomes the mirror, and you stop asking pain to tell you who you are. Stop asking the situation to define you. Stop asking the closed door if you are chosen. Stop asking the bank account if I am provider. Stop asking the diagnosis if I am healer. Stop asking the person who left if you are lovable. Stop asking your past if you are forgiven. Stop asking the delay if you are called. Let my word rename you. Let my voice restore what fear distorted. Let my truth wash off every label that came from trauma, shame, disappointment, rejection, and unbelief. You are not behind. You are being formed. You are not overlooked. You are being kept. You are not disqualified. You are covered by grace. You are not powerless. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. You are not alone. I am with you. You are not dirty because you fell. You are washed when you return to me. You are not what they whispered. You are not what they misunderstood. You are not what they abandoned. You are not what they refused to see. You are who I say you are. And right now, beloved child, I am calling your identity out of captivity. I am calling your mind out of agreement with shame. I am calling your heart out of the prison of old names. I am calling your spirit back under the sound of my voice. You will not spend another season answering to what I never called you. You will not let a temporary situation assign a permanent identity. You will not let pain become your prophet. You will not let fear become your mirror. You will not let the enemy place a name tag on a child I have already covered with my love. Receive this now. I am your Father. My word is your truth. My voice is your identity. My promise is your covering. My presence is your home. And when your identity is restored, your language must be restored too. Because your mouth has been repeating what sight said instead of what I said. Your confession has been echoing the report, echoing the fear, echoing the wound, echoing the delay. But now that I have reminded you who you are, I am going to teach your mouth to come back into agreement with my word. Beloved child, your words have been shaking hands with what hurt you. Today, that agreement ends. Your mouth was never created to be a servant of fear. Your tongue was never created to rehearse defeat until your heart believed it. Your voice was never created to become an echo chamber for disappointment, delay, rejection, sickness, lack, or pain. I gave you a mouth to agree with truth. I gave you breath to release faith. I gave you words so your inner man could come under my word and refuse to bow to the report that tried to rule you. Listen carefully. Every time you said, "Nothing ever changes," your mouth was partnering with the pattern instead of the promise. Every time you said, "I will always be alone," your mouth was shaking hands with abandonment. Every time you said, "I cannot recover," your mouth was agreeing with the wound as though my healing power had stopped speaking. Every time you said, "This door will never open," your mouth was treating the closed door like it had more authority than the one who opens and no man shuts. Every time you said, "God must have forgotten me," your mouth was repeating the sermon of fear instead of the covenant of your Father. But I did not forget you. I did not misplace you. I did not stop watching. I did not stop working because you could not see movement. I did not leave the room because the evidence became uncomfortable. I am still with you. I am still for you. I am still faithful. My promise still stands. My word still speaks. My hand is still able. My timing is still holy. My love has not weakened, because your circumstances became loud. So now I am calling your confession back to me. Say what I have spoken. Say, God is with me. Say, I walk by faith, not by sight. Say, the promise still stands. Say, my Father is working even when I cannot see it. Say, this report is not my ruler. Say, my future is not imprisoned by what I see today. Say, fear will not disciple my tongue. Say, my mouth will agree with the word of the Lord. Do not wait until you feel strong to speak truth. Speak truth until your weakness remembers where strength comes from. This is not magic language. This is not empty repetition. This is not pretending. This is spiritual alignment. This is your mouth coming back under the government of my word. This is your heart refusing to let fear train your vocabulary. This is your spirit saying, I will not call permanent what God called temporary. I will not call final what God has not finished. I will not call impossible what heaven has already answered with power. Declaration is not you controlling me. Declaration is you surrendering to me. Declaration is not forcing heaven to obey your words. Declaration is bringing your words into obedience to heaven. Because fear has been trying to disciple your tongue. Fear wanted you to narrate your life from the wound. Fear wanted you to keep saying, it is too late, until your feet stop moving. Fear wanted you to keep saying, I am too broken, until your heart stopped receiving. Fear wanted you to keep saying, nothing good stays, until expectation died quietly inside you. Fear wanted you to keep saying, I cannot trust again, until isolation felt safer than healing. But today, I am breaking that training. Today, I am washing your language. Today, I am removing the vocabulary of defeat from the mouth of my child. Your reality may be loud, but it does not get to write your confession. The report may be real, but it does not get to be your ruler. The delay may be painful, but it does not get to become your doctrine. The battle may be exhausting, but it does not get to become your identity. The door may look closed, but it does not get to become your prophecy. My word has the final say over you. My word has the final say over your mind. My word has the final say over your future. My word has the final say over the place where fear has been pressuring you to give up. And if this word is reaching into the exact place where reality has been shouting at you, respond right now. Type these words in the comments. God's word has the final say. Do not type it as a slogan. Type it as agreement. Type it as a line in the sand. Type it as a public refusal to keep bowing your mouth to what wounded you, and leave your prayer request in the comments for the area where reality has been pressing you the hardest. Is it your body? Is it your family? Is it your finances? Is it your calling? Is it your mind? Is it the door that is not opened yet? Bring that pressure into the light. Let your request become a place where faith rises again. Beloved, I am not asking you to lie about the pain. I am telling you to stop letting pain lead the conversation. I am not asking you to deny the report. I am telling you to deny the report, its throne. I am not asking you to ignore what is visible. I am telling you to stop worshiping what is visible. Speak my word over the thing that has been speaking over you. Speak faith over fear. Speak promise over pressure. Speak presence over loneliness. Speak restoration over loss. Speak life over the place that has been trained by death. Say, I am not abandoned. Say, I am not forgotten. Say, I am not finished. Say, I am not ruled by fear. Say, my Father is faithful. Say, my Father is near. Say, my Father is working. Say, my Father has not changed his mind about me. Let your room hear it. Let your heart hear it. Let the atmosphere around you hear it. Let the enemy hear that your agreement is no longer available to him. And now, beloved child, understand this. I have always called my people to move by my word before the evidence looked complete. I have always called faith to rise before sight had proof. I have always asked obedience to step while the waters were still standing, while the walls were still high, while the promise was still unseen, while the body was still weak, while the door still looked closed. That is where I am taking you next, because every faith step begins before the evidence changes. Beloved child, this is the pattern you must understand before you take another step. I have never required sight to agree before I called faith to move. I have never waited for reality to look ready before I gave an instruction. I have never needed circumstances to become comfortable before my word became true. Faith obeys while the evidence is still catching up. Faith rises while the facts are still arguing. Faith moves while the room still looks the same, while the numbers still look small, while the report still sounds serious, while the relationship still feels strained, while the door still appears closed. Abraham moved before he saw the nation. He left what was familiar while the promise was still invisible. He packed before the fullness appeared. He walked before the evidence could explain itself. He did not hold my instruction hostage until his eyes could verify the outcome. He heard my voice, and he moved. Moses lifted the rod before the sea opened. The water was still standing there. The enemy was still behind them. The pressure was still real. The people were still afraid. But obedience went up before the sea split apart. Peter stepped out before the water became safe. The waves had not calmed yet. The wind had not apologized yet. The surface had not become stable yet. But my voice said, "Come," and that word became more real than the storm beneath his feet. Jairus kept walking even after bad news arrived. The report said, it was too late. The voices said, "Do not trouble the master anymore." But I said, "Do not be afraid, only believe." And he kept walking with me while grief was trying to become final. Do you see it now? The miracle was not only in the sea opening. The miracle began when Moses lifted the rod. The miracle was not only in Peter walking on water. The miracle began when his foot left the boat. The miracle was not only in the child rising. The miracle began when Jairus kept walking after the report tried to stop him. The miracle was not only in Abraham becoming a father of nations. The miracle began when he obeyed without holding a map in his hand. So why are you waiting for the evidence to change before you obey what I already spoke? Why are you waiting for the account to overflow before you trust me as provider? Why are you waiting for your body to feel perfect before you speak life and take the next faithful step? Why are you waiting for the relationship to feel easy before you forgive, humble yourself, pray, or release the bitterness that has been poisoning your peace? Why are you waiting for the door to look wide open before you prepare, apply, build, write, serve, give, call, ask, and move? If you wait for reality to approve your faith, you have already made reality your ruler. Listen carefully, beloved. Faith is not waiting until sight agrees. Faith is obeying while sight is still arguing. Faith is praying while your emotions still tremble. Faith is forgiving while your flesh still wants to rehearse the offense. Faith is applying while rejection still echoes in your memory. Faith is resting while your mind still wants to panic. Faith is standing while the storm still demands a reaction. Faith is saying, "My Father has spoken, and that is enough for my next step." Move because I spoke, pray because I spoke, forgive because I spoke, apply because I spoke, rest because I spoke, stand because I spoke, give because I spoke, wait because I spoke. Wait because I spoke. Speak because I spoke. Be silent because I spoke. Return because I spoke. Begin again because I spoke. Do not make the visible world your permission slip. Do not make changed circumstances the doorway to obedience. My word is enough to authorize your movement. My voice is enough to steady your feet. My instruction is enough to break agreement with fear. I know the bank account still looks small. I know the diagnosis still sounds serious. I know the family situation still feels heavy. I know the marriage still feels strained. I know the child still has not returned. I know the opportunity still has not called back. I know the door still appears closed. I know the night still feels long. I know the pressure still speaks loudly. But I am not asking you to obey because reality looks easy. I am asking you to obey because I am faithful. This is where many of my children stop. They say they are waiting on me, but they are really waiting on visible proof. They say they are being wise, but fear has become the counselor. They say they will move when things improve, but they have given the circumstance the authority to release them. Beloved, if the storm must calm before you obey, then the storm is ruling you. If the report must change before you believe, then the report is ruling you. If the door must open before you prepare, then the door is ruling you. If people must approve before you step forward, then people are ruling you. But I am calling you out of that bondage today. Your first sign of victory is not always changed circumstances. Sometimes the first sign of victory is changed obedience. Sometimes breakthrough begins when you pray again before you feel anything. Sometimes breakthrough begins when you forgive before the apology comes. Sometimes breakthrough begins when you prepare before the invitation arrives. Sometimes breakthrough begins when you rest before the problem is solved. Sometimes breakthrough begins when you speak my word while the old facts are still standing in front of you. Right now, beloved child, I am not asking you to control the outcome. I am asking you to obey the instruction. I am not asking you to force the sea open. I am asking you to lift the rod. I am not asking you to make the water safe. I am asking you to step toward my voice. I am not asking you to resurrect what only my power can touch. I am asking you to keep walking with me after the bad news tries to stop you. Let faith move before sight agrees. Let obedience answer before fear finishes speaking. Let your next step declare that reality is present, but it is not your ruler. And now the shift begins, beloved child. Not when every circumstance changes. Not when every person understands. Not when every door opens in front of you. Not when every number improves. Not when every report sounds better. The shift begins when fear stops receiving obedience. The shift begins when you stop asking fear for permission to trust me. The shift begins when you stop negotiating with the voice that has been trying to keep you bowed beneath what you see. Today, the negotiation ends. Today, fear loses its seat at the table. Today, sight loses its crown. Today, the old report loses its throne. Today, my word rises in your spirit again. Today, the part of you that has been trembling under pressure begins to remember that I am still God. Today, the part of you that stopped hoping begins to breathe again. Today, the part of you that has been waiting for visible proof begins to hear my voice above the noise. Listen carefully. Fear has been acting like an advisor, but it was never assigned to counsel, my child. Fear has been presenting evidence, building arguments, rehearsing worst outcomes, replaying old disappointments, and calling it wisdom. But I am exposing it now. That was not wisdom. That was bondage with a convincing voice. That was panic dressed in caution. That was unbelief, hiding behind experience. That was pain trying to become your prophet, and I am calling you out of the conversation. No more bargaining with fear. No more asking fear what might happen if you obey. No more sitting across from panic and letting it explain your future. No more giving shame a microphone in the room of your decisions. No more letting the old report decide whether you will pray, move, forgive, apply, rest, speak, worship, or begin again. Fear does not get a vote where my word is already spoken. This shift will begin inside you before it appears around you. Do not despise that. Do not call it small. When peace returns to your chest while the circumstance is still unresolved, that is, breakthrough beginning. When courage rises while the door is still uncertain, that is breakthrough beginning. When clarity replaces confusion and you suddenly know the next obedient step, that is breakthrough beginning. When your mind stops racing long enough to hear me again, that is breakthrough beginning. When obedience becomes possible again, when worship returns again, when prayer rises again, when your mouth stops repeating defeat again, heaven is already moving in you. You have been asking me to change everything around you, and I will move according to my will, my wisdom, and my perfect timing. But first, I am reclaiming the throne inside you. First, I am dealing with the place where fear has been issuing orders. First, I am touching the place where sight became louder than my promise. First, I am restoring the altar of trust in your heart, because if the outside changes but fear still rules the inside, you will carry the same bondage into a new season. But when my word rules within you, you can stand in a storm and still belong to peace. Over the coming days, watch with a faithful heart. Watch for renewed strength. Watch for unexpected clarity. Watch for divine reminders that bring my word back to your memory at the exact moment you need it. Watch for timely encouragement through a message, a conversation, a scripture, a quiet prompting, a door that aligns with my will, a correction that protects you, or a peace that steadies you before the evidence changes. Do not turn these things into superstition. Recognize them as my mercy, drawing your attention back to truth. I know how to remind my children. I know how to strengthen weary hearts. I know how to send light into confusion. I know how to confirm the path that belongs to me. But you must obey the next step I have already placed before you. Make the call. Pray again. Apologize where pride has kept you silent. Forgive where I have been nudging you to release the debt. Apply again where rejection told you to stop. Prepare again where delay told you nothing was coming. Rest instead of spiraling. Worship before the outcome changes. Open your Bible before you open another anxious thought. Speak truth before fear finishes its speech. Do the simple instruction. Do the holy instruction. Do the instruction that does not feel dramatic but breaks the power of fear because it proves fear is no longer your master. Do not obey panic. Do not obey shame. Do not obey the old report. Do not obey the voice that says quit. Do not obey the memory that says it will always end the same way. Do not obey the wound that tells you to harden your heart. Do not obey the anxiety that tells you to rehearse disaster until your body feels exhausted. Do not obey the accusation that says you are too late, too broken, too weak, too far behind, too forgotten, too damaged, too unworthy. Obey my word. Obey when I say forgive. Obey when I say wait. Obey when I say move. Obey when I say rest. Obey when I say speak. Obey when I say be still. Obey when I say prepare. Obey when I say release it. Obey when I say try again. Obey when I say come back to me. Your obedience is not proof that the circumstance is easy. Your obedience is proof that fear is no longer enthroned. Right now, beloved child, I am drawing a line in your spirit. On one side is the old pattern: panic, agreement, delay, silence, retreat, and despair. On the other side is my way: faith, truth, courage, surrender, obedience, and peace. You cannot keep negotiating with what I have called you to overcome. You cannot keep entertaining the voice I have told you to resist. You cannot keep calling fear a counselor when it has been stealing your obedience. Choose today. Choose my word. Choose trust. Choose the next faithful step before sight agrees. And now this message must become surrender. It cannot remain only something you heard. It must become something you yield. Your heart must hand the throne back to me. The place where visible reality has been sitting must be emptied. The place where fear has been ruling must be surrendered. The place where the report became king must bow again. Come now, beloved child. Bring me the panic. Bring me the fear. Bring me the argument. Bring me the delay. Bring me the old report. Bring me the trembling place inside you. We are going to pray, and you are going to give the throne back to the one who never stopped holding you. Father, take the throne back from what I see. Take the throne back from the report. Take the throne back from the pain. Take the throne back from the delay. Take the throne back from the visible thing that has been sitting in the place only your word belongs. I come before you now, not pretending, not hiding, not dressing up my fear in religious words. I confess that reality has been louder than your promise in places of my heart. I confess that what I saw began to rule what I believed. I confess that what I felt began to govern what I obeyed. Forgive me for every agreement I made with fear. Forgive me for every agreement I made with hopelessness. Forgive me for every agreement I made with panic, defeat, despair, anxiety, bitterness, and unbelief. Beloved child, pray it from the place where it has been hurting. Do not rush past this. Do not perform this. Surrender it. Say, Father, forgive me for calling the report final when you were still speaking. Forgive me for treating the delay like denial. Forgive me for letting pain disciple my expectations. Forgive me for letting disappointment interpret your heart. Forgive me for letting fear tell me who I am, where I am going, and what is possible. I give you back the throne of my heart. I give you back the seat of authority in my thoughts. I give you back the place where visible reality tried to become king. Let faith rise now in the painful places. Let faith rise in my finances where lack has been shouting. Let faith rise in my body where sickness, weakness, symptoms, or exhaustion have been trying to speak louder than your care. Let faith rise in my family where conflict, distance, silence, rebellion, grief, or disappointment has been heavy. Let faith rise in my calling where delay has tried to make me bury what you placed inside me. Let faith rise in my decisions where confusion has been pressing me. Let faith rise in my grief where loss has made the future feel empty. Let faith rise in my loneliness where abandonment has tried to become my name. Let faith rise in my waiting season where nothing appears to be changing, but you are still faithful. And now, beloved child, say it clearly. Say it until your own heart hears it. I walk by faith, not by sight. I walk by faith, not by sight. I walk by faith, not by sight. I do not deny what I see, but I refuse to enthrone what I see. I do not deny the facts, but I deny them final authority. I do not deny the pain, but I refuse to let pain rule my obedience. I do not deny the report, but I refuse to let the report become my God. My Father has spoken, and His word is higher than what stands in front of me. I renounce fear-based obedience. I renounce the pattern of moving only when fear allows me. I renounce the habit of shrinking because anxiety speaks loudly. I will not obey anxiety more than peace. I will not obey delay more than promise. I will not obey rejection more than identity. I will not obey reality more than your word. I will not obey panic more than wisdom. I will not obey shame more than grace. I will not obey old wounds more than love. I will not obey accusation more than truth. I belong to you, and my obedience belongs to you. Father, restore my spiritual hearing. Cleanse my ears from the noise of pressure. Cleanse my mind from the echo of reports. Cleanse my heart from the weight of emotions that have been pretending to be truth. Let me recognize your voice above fear. Let me recognize your voice above panic. Let me recognize your voice above people's opinions, above my own trembling, above the enemy's accusations, above the visible evidence that keeps demanding worship. Speak, Lord, and make me able to hear. Lead me and make me willing to follow. Correct me and make me humble. Comfort me and make me steady. Strengthen me and make me obedient. Now I surrender the throne. I surrender the argument. I surrender the timeline. I surrender the need to understand everything before I trust you. I surrender the visible evidence that has been trying to own my peace. I place your word above what I see. I place your truth above what I feel. I place your promise above what has delayed. I place your presence above what has hurt me. Let your word rule in me again. Let your peace guard me again. Let your voice guide me again. Let my life declare from this moment forward that reality may be present, but it is not my ruler. Your word has the throne. Your word has the authority. Your word has the final say. Beloved child, I am not finished with you. Your reality is not your ruler. Your fear is not your shepherd. Your report is not your final word. I am still God over your life. I am still God over the place that looks delayed. I am still God over the place that feels broken. I am still God over the place that has been under pressure. I am still God when the evidence is loud. I am still God when your emotions tremble. I am still God when the answer has not appeared the way you expected. What you see is not higher than what I have spoken. What you feel is not stronger than my truth. What has happened to you does not have authority to cancel what I have declared over you. Listen carefully, beloved child. You are covered. You are strengthened. You are guided. You are held. You are not walking into this next step alone. My hand is upon you. My grace is beneath you. My word is before you. My spirit is within you. I am restoring your courage. I am restoring your confession. I am restoring your ability to stand while sight is still arguing. I am restoring the place where fear wore you down and made you think surrender meant giving up. No, beloved. Surrender means giving me the throne again. Surrender means letting my word rule again. Surrender means you stop bowing to the visible thing and start walking under the authority of the invisible God who has never failed you. The enemy wanted the report to define you. I call you mine. The enemy wanted delay to shame you. I call you held. The enemy wanted fear to lead you. I call you guided. The enemy wanted the wound to name you. I call you restored. The enemy wanted your eyes to decide your future. I call you to walk by faith and not by sight. Your situation may still be changing, but your identity is settled. Your circumstances may still be moving, but my word is established. Your emotions may still be catching up, but my promise has not moved. Do not measure my faithfulness by the noise of this moment. Measure this moment by the faithfulness I have already proven. So, rise under my word. Rise from the agreement with fear. Rise from the language of defeat. Rise from the throne room of visible evidence. Rise and say, my Father has spoken over me. Say, my reality is not my ruler. Say, God's word has the final say. Say it when you feel strong. Say it when your voice shakes. Say it when the report tries to preach again. Say it when fear tries to return to the seat it lost today. Let your mouth become an altar of agreement. Let your heart become a place where My truth is honored above pressure. And now, if this is your closing agreement, write it in the comments right now. My reality is not my ruler. God's word has the final say. Do not write it casually. Write it as a declaration. Write it as obedience. Write it as a line drawn in your spirit. Write it as your refusal to leave this moment and return to the old agreement. And if you are choosing faith over sight, like this message as your act of agreement, share it with someone whose reality has been speaking louder than my promise. Send it to the one who has been tired, discouraged, overwhelmed, and tempted to let the report become king. Subscribe for more word-centered encouragement, because your faith must be fed by truth and not trained by fear. And leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you, agree with you, and believe with you under my word. Beloved child, do not leave this moment and go back to obeying fear. Do not return to the throne you just emptied. Do not hand your peace back to the report. Do not let the visible world disciple your heart again. Walk out of this message under my word. Walk with your eyes lifted. Walk with your confession restored. Walk with your obedience returned to me. Walk by faith while the evidence is still changing. Walk by faith while the door is still opening. Walk by faith while your heart is still healing. Walk by faith while I am still working. Walk by faith. Walk with me.